NFL Combine going on this week. And yesterday, coaches and GMs, they had to answer questions. Well, they had to answer them in the best way they could answer them without really answering them. And you know what? We're so gullible. As a sports society, we're just jonesing for anything. Hey, these coaches are going to talk about their draft, what they're going to do in the draft, without really telling you what they're going to do in the draft. Or they're going to talk about the tush push without really saying too much about, or maybe a player who may be on the trading block without really saying too much. But we sit there and we eat it all up, scoop it all up. It's like, oh my God, that's great. But it's one of those, if you say, coming up on SportsCenter, we'll sit down with Sean McDermott, and he'll give his thoughts on the tush push. And then all of a sudden, you have a question to Sean, and he'll be like, hey, it's part of the game, and whatever the league does, and whatever. And then you go, okay, all righty, that was great. Like, you don't even, we're not even listening to the answers as much as the topic. Oh, my, I saw the topic again on SportsCenter. Shedeur Sanders not throwing at the combine. What's it mean for his draft status? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. He'll do a pro day at Colorado. His dad gets all this attention. The wide receivers who are there at Colorado get some national attention. Come on. The players have the power. It's okay. I mean, I'm surprised when it goes the other way. Cam Ward, I wouldn't be throwing. You want to do something where, it's a controlled environment. You have your receivers. You get some attention for some players, your coaching staff, whatever. But we make it a big deal because we allow it to be a big deal. We click on these stories, and it's just silly. And I told you this was going to happen with Shedeur Sanders. None of the first-round quarterbacks last year threw at the combine. It didn't lead SportsCenter. So I know we are gullible. We're easily led. But there are times when I go, nope, you're not going to get me on this one. And I spent 18 years of my career trying to do this to you. Like, how do we get people to stay at SportsCenter? I don't know. Come up with a tease coming up on SportsCenter. You won't believe what Charles Barkley just did. And then he didn't do anything. Like, I don't know. I didn't see the highlight yet. Yes, Paulie.
What I love about the Combine is when they ask a real direct question to a GM or coach, and he has to ignore it. Like, I'll give you an example. Okay. You be the coach, or you be the GM of how about the Browns?
Okay, Andrew Berry.
Yeah, Andrew Berry.
Okay. Yes, Paulie.
Andrew, what's the plan with Nick Chubb? What are you guys going to do to keep him or not keep him in the offseason?
Man, do I love that guy. I really do. I mean, when I think of a running back, I think of him, and he's really a special guy. And, we appreciate all the great things that he did for us.
That said, what are your plans for Nick Chubb?
Wait, I thought I just said, didn't I just answer that without answering that? When they say, man, I really love that guy, that guy's gone.
Gone.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think of, man.
When they start prematurely thanking him for everything they've done for our franchise. Okay, yeah. How about your Sean McVay?
Okay.
Coach, what's the situation right now with Matthew Stafford and your plans for his future at the Rams?
Oh, man, that's a great question, Paul. That really is. It's a great question. Stalling. I love him. I mean, you cannot write the history of the Rams without Matthew Stafford. I mean, Hall of Famer in every sense, really.
What are your
family? I love that guy.
Just real quick, what are your plans?
Yeah, I mean, my plans are to just make sure I appreciate every day, every moment I have with Matthew Stafford, because you know what? He's a special player, and on and off the field. Did I mention that? Yeah. And you can't write the history of the Rams. Did I mention that too? Yeah, I really love him. Yes, Todd.
It's that tell when they say did, when they talk in the past tense as opposed to and what he will be doing in the future. If you're already talking in the preterite tense, it's like that means they're kind of closing the chapter on this guy.
Yeah, when you give me past tense, it just feels like Nick Chubb, let's be honest, older, got injured, and maybe not affordable. See ya. That's it. What are your plans for Myles Garrett, man? Now, if you say we're not taking phone calls, We don't want to hear from anybody. We are not trading him. We have no plans or no intentions. When you say that, that means you're open for business. They can say all the right things. This is February, late February. Let's wait till we get to April. Let's wait till we get to the draft. Teams are going to do their due diligence on all these draft picks. And then they're going to say, is that guy somebody that we can invest in as a first-round pick, and we don't have to pay him $30 million? Myles Garrett is going to cost you that and then some. And you got to give up draft picks. So I think you got to be fair to the teams in a situation like this. First of all, the GM is not going to tell you anything. What are you guys planning on doing with the number 1 pick? Oh, I'm glad you asked. You know what? We're taking Travis Hunter. Oh, I mean, we could take Travis Hunter. Hey, how about, and by the way, the NFL won't let you say what you're doing with the top pick, even though you may know who you're taking. Do you plan on playing Travis Hunter at defensive back or wide receiver? Well, you can say, if we take him, he's going to be a cornerback, and we hope to use him as a wide receiver. But we're so hungry for football. It's only been a couple of weeks removed from the Super Bowl. We're already fixing. I need a fix. But it's still the combine, and it takes up a week of our attention because there's nothing really else going on. Yes, Marvin.
And that's the beauty about being a sports fan, stuff like the combine and the NFL draft. If you're a fan of a team that's bad, you're thinking to yourself, all right, we can get better next year. So there's always hope, no matter how bad your team is. Yeah.
So for the past couple of months, the good teams have been playing. The bad teams are just sitting there going, all right, let me look at Mel Kiper's latest mock draft here and see who we're getting, because there's hope. You have hope right now in late February. You have hope, free agency coming up in a couple of weeks. The draft coming up, you've got hope. Even off season, the schedule, you got hope. And then all of a sudden, reality sets in, and it's middle of October, and you go, damn, I thought we were going to be good. No, you're the Jets. Yes, Paulie.
As a Bear fan, my season is February, March, and April. That's when I get to talk and chop it up and see what they're doing, and it goes away.
Yes, Todd?
There's something about that fresh enthusiasm of a new head coach that doesn't have a record of any wins or losses just yet, where this is the time where you can get all excited about things until it starts going off the rails.
Well, it's a honeymoon. Oh, she's wonderful. Oh, I love her so much. Oh, we're inseparable. We can't stand to be apart from one another. And then all of a sudden, season starts, and then all of a sudden, things start to fall apart. All right, Seton poll question today. What are we going to start out with?
Is the NFL Combine still useful? Yes or no?
It is because of the medicals and the interviews. And I'm going off what, my source says, that what he gets from being in those interviews, when you get the medicals, now you see how tall somebody is, how much they weigh. He doesn't get caught up in the 40, but he really focuses on the medical, and he focuses on the interviewing process.
Are you a dog or a cat?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've asked him, I said, do you ask stupid questions like that? He goes, no. Because if I ask you would you rather be a dog or a cat, I don't care. I just want to know, are you a football player? That's the most important thing.
Are you a football player or a guy who plays football?
Interesting.
Andrew Luck.
We're looking for football players here.
I asked Andrew Luck that. I asked him, and you know what? He had a long pause, because I always felt that he was a guy who was really good at football.
Still pausing, still thinking, pondering. Good question, DP.
Yeah.
Ponderous, man.
What else do you have there, Seton?
I think we're going combine related for hour one.
Okay.
Where there's another slight tweak on that.
Okay.
Which is the NFL Combine is great football filler or useless, and I still watch.
Wow. I don't watch as much as I once did, but it's only because I kind of figured out what I need to be aware of, instead of, gosh, did you see that offensive lineman from Auburn? I don't know what it means. And there's going to be a center, there'll be a guard, and there'll be a defensive tackle where we'll look back on the draft and you go, damn, that guy became an all-pro. But we don't care about that. I mean, we should care about it because look at what the Eagles did with a great offensive line and a great defensive line. But, the draft, we're going to talk about Travis Hunter, the quarterbacks, Ashton Genty, what the Cowboys do, anybody trade up, anybody trade down, what trades happened prior to Matthew Stafford, Kirk D. Cousins, Sam Darnold, how do they affect the draft? I mean, that's really what the presentation is going to be, at least that first night. Remember a couple of years ago when Shefty breathlessly was trying to tell us that, Aaron Rodgers was going to be traded? And you had all of this programming about Aaron. I was like, Aaron Rodgers, he's not going to be traded. But it was one of those where Adam, I think, had heard from somebody who had some information, and therefore, all of a sudden, it became ESPN's programming. All it takes is one little thing, like Laramie Tunsil, and it changes a draft. Somebody's rising, somebody's falling. And if you're carrying the draft, so ESPN is looking for those stories. They don't want predictability. They want to have something where somebody goes, oh, my God. Mel, what's your thought? That's what they want. You don't want this to go chalk where you go, okay, and then okay. You want the New York Jets have traded up. Yes, Todd.
But that's part of the problem, too, when we watch the combine. We get so reactionary in the moment. Just because someone runs a fast 40, we already got them going to the Hall of Fame. Or someone gets their feet tied up or they hit a cone by accident. That means they're going to be a bust and they have no chance of having a great NFL career. That's what's silly because we're so fixated on every little number that's going to determine their future in the pros.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Now we can put a bow on this segment.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. We just tripped over the cone.